So anyway, let's get into it. I'm in the key of G for this one, and as always, I'm incorporating previous ideas, but expanding on them a little bit and also offering up some new things as well. And for this one, what I'm really focusing on is going back and forth between the chords and some tasty little licks, and even putting some stuff right inside the chords. That's always fun to do, okay? So what I'll do is I'll just play it for you first at tempo. Okay, it's not too quick, and then we'll break it down phrase by phrase, lick by lick, okay? Here we go. A 12-bar blues in the key of G. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Right out the gate, we have that opening lead-in lick. Okay, so you can see the tab up on the screen, and of course you have the visual, but let me play that for you nice and slow. Okay, and then we are into the first phrase. Okay, I consider that one phrase. We're moving from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. Now what's happening here is I'm holding down a G7 bar chord, okay? And while you're holding that chord down, you want to get as many notes ringing out as possible, right? So while you're holding that chord down, you're playing this lick with inside the chord. And as I say, it's all right inside the chord. Very cool. All right, and then we want to move to the 5 chord, which is in this case going to be a C9. And all we're doing with that chord is arpeggiating it. Down, 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 followed by up, up, up. Which you can see on the tab, of course, but... So now we have... Now, off of that C9 chord, we're going to play... some double stop action, okay? Now you may want to flip up your fingers or mix up your fingers a little bit to grab that using your 2 middle fingers. But I just play it right off of the chord. As you can see, I just pop my pinky down here. So that's an option, okay? That's just simply the way I like to play it. So we're sliding again from 3 to 5 on the G string, catching the first E string on the 5th fret, and then in reverse. Like that, okay? So we have... Okay. Now the next phrase brings us back to the 1 chord, the G chord, and we're playing a boogie pattern in a slightly different way, a very acoustic-y blues way, I like to think of it. But instead of going, you know, the old school way, I'm just doing it like this. You get a few more strings in there, you know, you get the B string in there, and you're kind of getting that G note ringing through. So this is how I'm playing it. I'm using my 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and then place your 1st finger in the 2nd fret on the D string, but you want to play the D, the G, and the B strings. So you get this. Then open it up. Then use use your third finger to land the third fret on the D string and do the same thing. And back. So we have kind of a fun and cool way to play the old school boogie pattern with a different fingering, okay? So we're going to do a walk up now back to the 4 chord, the C9 chord. So I played this. And that walks us into the C9 chord. So where you jump off is really important, right? So let me do that slowly. As you can see, we walked right into that C9 chord again for the next phrase. I arpeggiated the chord the exact same way, but 2 times in a row. And a string of kind of low-end double stops, okay? I slid into it, but the double stops are, as you can see on the tab. And I think down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down is probably the best picking pattern for that. So off of that C9 we have okay, and then we find our way back to the 1 chord, of course, and we're doing kind of a black country woman type thing here. Going to take us into the 5 chord, the D7. So again, playing that one nice and slow. You want to kind of keep your ring finger on that G note, the 3rd fret on the 6th string, as much as you can, so that it rounds out the notes and makes them sound like they're all a chord, so to speak. So you can see that on the tab, but let me play it slow as well. And then that takes us to the 5 chord, as I mentioned, the D7. And we are using the same strings and the same arpeggiation and picking that we used on the C9 chord. But then we're going to invert it slightly where the 3rd, the major 3rd, becomes the root note. So how you want to do this is keep your first 2 fingers where they are, but pull your 3rd finger down to the 5th fret on the G string, and then your pinky down to the 5th fret on the 1st E string. So we have, and then we arpeggiate those first 4 strings. But the same thing, right? 3 down, 3 up. So we have, and then we do the same thing at C7. So backing up a little bit, what we have is this. The turnaround. Okay, now for the turnaround, what I'm doing is the same idea. I'm using my ring finger to fret that 3rd fret on the 6th string, and I want to hold that down so that that note rings through the rest of it, right? And so I use this fingering right here. You can see which strings I'm picking on the tab, and I'm using a down, down, up pattern, by the way. Pinky comes down on the 3rd fret on the D string, so we want to pick the D, the G, and the B strings now. Then 2nd fret with the 2nd finger on the D string. 1st fret with the 1st finger, and then finally open. So slowly we have. There you can see the chords on the screen. We have a E flat 9, or D sharp 9 if you want to call it that, to a D7 sharp 9. And then what you can do, you can just start the whole thing over at that point, right? You can go like this. go through it again, okay? But on the video, what I did was I ended it with a G7 over here, stone style. Just like so, okay? So what I think I'll do right now is I'll play the whole thing really slowly for you, okay? You've got it up to tempo at the beginning of the video if you want to reference that, but let me just play the whole thing for you very slowly. So there you go with yet another installment of Acoustic Blues Guitar. I hope you enjoyed it, and as I mentioned, there's access to other acoustic blues lessons in the description box below, as well as my blues rock guitar course, okay? So you can check that out if you're into it, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, Howard here with Acoustic Blues Guitar, adding fills, turnarounds, licks, and all the rest to your rhythm playing. About a week ago, I did 10 blues turnarounds for guitar, and I did that on electric guitar on my telly, and a few people spotted this little groove that I played after I did a certain example. And they were like, hey, Howard, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Can you do a tutorial on that? So I thought, that's a great idea, but it might be kind of boring just doing that rhythm guitar part over and over again, okay? So what I thought I'd do is I'd add a few of those turnarounds, those licks and stuff that I did in the previous lesson into this rhythm guitar part and kind of really build on that and just show you some cool things that you can do. All right, so I'll just do the performance and then we'll get into the tutorial. All right, so let's jump right into it. Right out the gate, I played the very first turnaround that was in my 10 turnarounds for blues guitar. Right? So that's a nice turnaround, it's a nice opener, it's a nice closer, anything like that, okay? So let me just play that one for you really slow, and you've got the tab up on the screen. Into a B7 sharp 9, and then we're into that groove that some viewers had mentioned, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm playing so what I've got is my first finger on the 2nd fret on the G string, my ring finger 4th fret on the A string, and the D string in between is just muted out, okay? So lay this finger a little bit sloppy and you'll have it. There's a little bit of muting in the back here, of course, but I'm also using that open E string. hit it again. And you can see what I did there. I just replaced this finger with this one and do a half step slide. Subtle bend, like about a quarter bend on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and that's the pattern, that's the circle. And then I do another fill, okay? So what we have so far is walks us into the 4 chord, into A, and so that fill nice and slow is and once you hit that open A string, you're into the 4 chord. Once more, nice and slow. Okay, and you can use whatever fingers you want for that, or with your first 2. But once we're into that 4 chord now, we're playing this. It's the same pattern that we used on E, but of course we're in A now, and taking into consideration the tuning of the guitar, we have the first finger on the 3rd fret on the B string, second finger 4th fret on the D string, and of course this time that G string is muted out. Although if it comes through, it still sounds pretty cool anyway, right? And so what I do there is I lay my ring finger down onto the 4th fret on the B string to slide up to the 5th fret. Right back to that, and then of course, little subtle bend on the 3rd fret on the A string this time. You're going to play that twice like any good blues, right? But when you come back, attack the 6th string to take you back to E. It sounds a little bit better that way. So if I were to play all of that nice and slow, it would be this. We do that little walk off of the 1 chord into the 5 chord. So how I do that exactly timing wise is like this. Right after that second slide, and that takes us to the 5 chord. So once again on that. I'm into that B7 sharp 9. Hit the bass note twice. That sounds kind of nice and rhythmic. Move up to a C9. Back to the B7 sharp 9. So rhythmically we have and then we play the turnaround. And as a note, that is one that was included in my 10 blues turnarounds for guitar, okay? But here it is nice and slow. I think cross-picking is best on this, down, up, up, down, up, up. And of course I played the C9 into that B7 sharp 9 at the tail end of that as well. So entering into the second go-around of this 12-bar blues, we do a little Hendrix, okay? So we've got the classic E7 sharp 9, and I'm playing right? So we've got that open E string twice, and chord, and then we have, that's all pretty straight ahead. And then you can see I come back and I play this pattern again. Just one time and back to the Hendrix chord. And then we do this walk up. It's similar to the turnaround, but we're going in the opposite direction, of course, making our way up to the 4 chord. So we have, that's a little bit wider swing, right? But the picking should be the same. Down, up, down, up, up. And that takes us to the 4 chord, the A7. So let me play that nice and slow as well. And then we have an A7 to a 13th to an A7 again, and I'm playing. Okay, that's the first pattern. I'll play that slowly. And then we form an A7, get back style. So that whole section together is played like this. And then we are back to same walk that we did before, right? Into that B7, but this time we're arpeggiating the chord. Into an A7, okay? Down, 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 up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down. But of course, feel free to do whatever works best for you, okay? So we have and that's the final turnaround right there. I'll just play that one nice and slow. And then we end with an F9 to an E9. So there you go with acoustic blues, adding turnarounds, fills, licks, whatever you want to do, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, I shall see you in the next video. Hi guys, Howard here with some more acoustic blues. We'll do a 12-bar blues in G, and we'll do a couple of rounds, and I'll just try to show you some stuff that you can do that's kind of fun, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a G7 chord, and I'm going to wrap everything around that G7 chord. And that'll walk us into the 4 chord, the C7. So again, what you've basically got going on is you're holding down this G7 chord, and as you can see from the tab, I'm hitting the 5th and 6th string together. Maybe a little mute in between back here, and hold that down and let it ring out. And then, so the lick is, all while you're holding that chord down. And then we play. So we put those two together and we have. And you can see did, I came back and played that first pattern again. Then we're going to walk up these octaves, walking the bass line up. Now you can do that with your ring finger if you want, instead of your pinky. Either way is perfectly fine, okay? So for that G7 now, the 1 chord, all the patterns together are like so. Walks us into a C9 chord, okay? And the C9 is played like this. So we've got the C9 chord and we're picking from the A string to the G string, 3 downstrokes. Then from the B string, up, up, down. And then we have the little lick. And I do that with my pinky just to keep the ring finger where it needs to be to come back and grab that C9 chord again. So we're just sliding up on the G string, grab the E string, and slide back. So the second time through, instead of skipping a string and going to the E string, I keep it on the B string, just for a little bit of variety. And then we head back to the G and do the same thing that we did before, just for now. So coming off of the C9, right there you can see I threw in a chromatic note because we're going to go to the D7 now, and that sounds real sweet to walk that down. So even though we come back and play the same patterns on the G7, we change the very last note to the 6th fret on the A string. That way we get this nice little walk into the D7 chord. So what we have is now, once we've landed the D7 chord, it's the same strings and the same picking pattern as the C9 that we did just a second ago, but it's a little bit longer. Down, 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 up, up, down, up, up, down, up. Walk that bass note down, land a C7. Same picking pattern, down, 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 up, up, down, up, down, up. 3rd fret to the 1st fret on the A string. And that takes us to our first turnaround. So, again, coming off of the C7 chord, we have land the 3rd fret on your 6th string G note, skip 2 strings so that you're down on the G string now, and the G and the B string are struck with a downstroke and an upstroke, so it's down, down, up. Place your ring finger, I don't know if you can see that, on the 3rd fret on the D string. So that's the D string, G string, and B strings, again, with that down, down, up. Then slip this finger to the 2nd fret on the D string, then the 1st fret, then open. So that turnaround is and we're landing a E flat 9 to a D9. So let me play that whole thing for you nice and slow, okay? Here we go. let's dive in and do another round, okay? And this one features a few of the things that I played at the beginning of the video. I know you can see that on the tab, but I'm on the 3rd fret on the 6th string with my 2nd finger, and I'm doing a pull-off at the 3rd fret on the B and the G string using my ring finger and my pinky. And then you can see on the tab I'm playing. And then we've got a hammer on the 1st fret on the A string. Kind of keep that finger there for a second if you can, and then swing down and hit the open G string. So the tail end of that pattern is once again the 3rd fret on the 6th string with my 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the D string, back to the 6th fret, so we've got, and then 3rd fret on the D string with your ring finger, and back. Finally ending with an open D string. Put that all together and you have and we move to the 4 chord. Now, for the 4 chord, we're going to do something similar to what we did on the G7. We're going to come all the way up here to the 8th fret to form a C dominant 7th chord, and we're going to start out basically the same, but there'll be more licks in it. Right? So we have, and then we're going to go, to explain that, but get your fingers off of the chord so that you can kind of manipulate that. And then we come back to the G. So what we have so far then is this. And then we make our way to the 5 chord, but this time instead of a D7, we're using a D9, and it'll be played like so. We'll move from the D9 to the C9, okay? So I'm hitting the bass note twice, the chord twice, then the bass note once, and the chord once. Then move to the 4th fret to walk it down to C. And then we're going to do the same thing on the C9, but we'll change that last note to the 1st fret on the A string. I know you can see it all on the tab, but hopefully this helps out a little bit. There we have it. So now, putting the whole thing together, this is what we have. So there you go, some more acoustic blues, part 2, so to speak. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys real soon.